Good morning. Happy Thursday. Everyone's at Matt's, so we're hoping that everyone's going to be checking out this amazing episode today. Welcome to Sales Chatter, the logistics podcast, where we aim to help 10,000 reps hit a million GP. I'm your co-host, Ryan Mohammed. With me is my amazing friend, President and CEO of RGTX Logistics Solutions, and the bodacious cowboy, Jeff Dickinson. How you doing this morning, brother?
Good morning, my man. Boy, do we have an awesome show today. Straight from the Atlantic Provinces Trucking Association Professional Driver of the Month, Veronica Keddy. If there's anybody that knows what she's doing, it's her. Let's get into it. Let's go.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
Time and like I said with Barb the other day, that when we're having amazing conversations with people, you get to know them as people better. And then when they come on our show, we're like so excited because I feel like we never get to interview strangers on our show, Jeff. We get to interview friends here, and that's the exact feeling that I had when I spoke with Veronica. She is spectacular in everything that she does. We'll learn a little bit about Decker, her little best friend, her travel buddy today. So we're excited to see that. And she comes from a long lineage of truck drivers. Her mother actually snickered on the phone yesterday talking about her grandpa, who was actually a truck driver as well. Her uncle, and then she started naming off uncles who are still truck drivers. So to say truck driving is in her blood, I would definitely believe that. So without further ado, let's bring her on. We want to welcome Veronica Keddy, like we said, all the way from Nova Scotia, one of the amazing provinces, the Maritimes, out in Canada, and we're just so honored to have you. Good morning to Veronica.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Fantastic. We're so happy to have you on board. We never had a driver of the month on, so you're the first one, and it's great that you're a woman who got the award. Congratulations. I know we're a month past it, but it takes a lot of work to get to where you are right now. You brought so much to the industry. I read your bio. Let's get into it. Tell us all about who Veronica is.
Well, the bio pretty much says it. I have been driving for, it'll be 10 years this year, actually. And I have just had amazing luck when it comes to becoming not only a driver, and then they surprised me with that driver of the month, but then the support I've needed from people to become a driver coach. So I take the interns that have just come out of school with me and do some polishing with them.
Yeah, and as you kind of mentioned that you do some polishing with the interns, can you talk to us about let's talk about the driver's side, and let's talk about that in being that kind of instructor as well on that side. How did trucking find you? Like we said, it comes from your bloodline, like your family's all, but what was the day that you decided, hey, I want to be a truck driver?
Lifetime. About 12 years ago, I was actually working and the call center I was in was getting ready to close because they were moving their operations overseas. So the plan was at that time that I would be a stay-at-home to look after the animals and critters I had with my roommate and her mother, and be the one to do all that. And we realized I didn't do that so well. I don't stay home all that well. I don't stay idle all that well. And at the time, for retraining, I was offered to become a CCA. So that's really the only thing they were going to pay for in my area, because critical care assistants, so people who go into nursing homes to help look after, or in the hospitals to help look after patients, and that's not really my thing. So my roommate at the time looked at me and she goes, "You love to travel and you love driving. Why don't you become a truck driver?" And that's what started it all. So then I got everything together to go to truck driving school, and I went to an awesome school in Dartmouth and had some fantastic instructors, and then just went from there. And it's been there's been no looking back since. Since I've decided to do this, it's where I'm at and where I'm happy. I love being on the road.
Yeah, as you kind of said, like being on the road is like one of the really cool things. And I've always said that, if I was able to go back in time and go through college and university, I would definitely want to become a truck driver and see the world, right? See the other side of everything, especially coming from Nova Scotia. Can you talk to a little bit about kind of like what your upbringing was in Nova Scotia, what it's like where you live right now, and like your first set of trips and what that looked like for you?
Um, it's pretty much a standard, or I would call it a standard rural upbringing. Like where I live, nice small place. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knew who my parents were. They all know whose family you belong to. Which then when I decided to become a truck driver, it was like not only my family behind me, the whole community got behind me because they were all just like, yes, go for it, go for it. And as I travel, you run into people that are, or, if I post something on Facebook that says I'm traveling here, everybody's go fun. And my first trip was when I was out with my coach because I did go through an internship and we went to North Carolina. So we were doing a delivery down there and then had a wow, and really my first experience going 60 times. I fell in love with it, and since then I've been lucky. I've done a lot. I have 7 states left to finish up the southern 48, the US 48. And the only place in Canada I have driven is the territories. So I've really been able to explore. And the company I'm with now, like if I decide I'm down, in Dallas or down in North Carolina, and I've got a day for between my load ending and my next one picking up, I'll be like, do you mind if I go explore? And they're like, yeah, go have fun. They have been fantastic.
And I love that you're saying that because you're going through those, like you said, you got 7 more places to kind of go. Can you talk to like so you've got the experience over the years as being a truck driver, and now you kind of helping with the coaches and helping with the interns. What are some things that you're seeing kids coming out of like the driving school and the trucking school and things like that? That it's not really it's something that we need to polish up a little bit.
But even when I first came out of truck school, the schools give you the foundation to start. So they give you the tools you need to build on. You're not going to be the perfect expert every time when you get behind the wheel of a truck. But with everyone, it's just, again, you need to learn that instead of being a wee little car, you're a 70-foot, 80,000-pound vehicle. So you have to learn how that handles. And with everyone, you struggle in the beginning with backing up because you have to adjust your mindset. And most that I've dealt with from there have, with any of the schools, again, the backing is where they need the work. So we work on it. And it's the only way you can doing it. So you create areas and environments where they can practice and they have you as support, but they can figure it out. And because you want them to have a light bulb moment where this is how this works. So then they know they can trust themselves when they get into that situation again.
I love that you said that. Like, I feel like we feel that in life. So just to piggyback off of what you said, like that aha moment where like, ooh, that's sorry, that's how it works. When was the last time that you personally had something like that for your own self? It doesn't have to be professional. It could be like personally as well, where you're like, okay, I figured it out.
If you don't have I learned something today moment every day, whether you're in your regular life, in the truck or whatever, you haven't worked hard enough that day. Like there's simple things that, if I do this, like, what was it? I figured out yesterday with my phone, of all things, that hold it. If I push this button, it does this. And it's like, oh, that makes that so much easier. And so even like for trucking, I'll talk to other drivers and go, they'll be like, have you tried this? Well, no. Oh, I should try that. And then you have your, oh my gosh, that works. And
And that's like so important, just to kind of like share that knowledge. Um, Veronica, one thing that we've been talking about in this show is like empowering women into logistics. And this week, we've been featuring female drivers on here to kind of give their experiences and what they're kind of noticing. We've had like other drivers kind of say that they've really looked forward to like being that role model for anybody that reaches out. Can you talk to a little bit about being the Atlantic Hall of Fame inductee for February, what that has come to, what does that look like for you, and the knowledge and what you want to kind of like give knowledge to like the future generation that's coming up in our industry?
I won't say that anything's changed if people recognize it and they say conditions, but the company I work for, because they know I have the experience that I have, the knowledge to share, when they get new drivers coming in, either coming in from out of school, or if we have a driver come in from another company or from overseas, that they'll be like, can you teach this? Can we give them your number if they have questions? And so my answer is always yes. They know, like if they have hours of service questions, I'll get calls or a text message, and you answer the questions. And that's really the biggest thing, because you're not going to learn everything once. And the biggest thing I'm finding with those that are coming in right now is they assume that when they've taken the courses at truck driving school that they know everything. And you definitely don't, because, truck driving school gives you the foundation, but they don't teach you what to do if a tire blows out. They don't teach you what to do if, they give you the basics that, okay, if you break down on the side of the road, you've got to put your triangles out, but they don't tell you the rest of it. So they don't tell you that, okay, you're sitting on the side of the road, so you need to be on duty, that, oh, you blew a drive tire, so that means the truck's going to respond like this. You need to do this. Or that you've blown a trailer tire or a steer tire, that this is what you need to do. So it's taking the foundation of yep, you've got the basic skills. So if you go to school to become a mechanic, your first year, yep, you can change tires. Or however, I don't know how the apprenticeship programs work. So, your first year, you're limited to this, you go back and you learn more. And that's basically the way I look at it, is you've got your basics from the school, you're coming with me to learn more, but every day you need to learn more again. So you have to have your own independent learning program in your mind that, okay, I'm here, this is where I want to be, and this is what how I want to get there. Okay, what do I need from myself? Is there somebody who can help me get there? And how do I find those people that I need to get there?
That is, I love the parallel that what exactly you just said to like myself in sales. Knowing that when I got into the industry, that was the same kind of mentality that I wanted to do. Like I set my foundation, but there's only so much like training and coaching can really do for you. Like I've never been like a book sense kind of person. I was like, I need to go out and do it myself. So I love that you said that. To find the people where you need to want to go. Let me piggyback that off of you a little bit. As a truck driver, where do you want to go?
The main things I want to do now is I want to get the last of those 748 states. I want to get those in there. I want to do what they call a black seal load. So something that I have no idea what's in it. It's usually a high value or a high security load, just to say I've done a black seal load. But I just want to be able to continue what I'm doing. Like the company, like I can't say enough about the company I work for now. It comes down to, no matter what I've decided to do, once, like last year, I had them putting you on the coaching course, and my response was, I've already had it. So as soon as they realized that, they're like, fantastic, because we think you would be great as a coach. We want to employ you in this as well. We want to make use of those skills you have, because everyone wants to get not only more women, but more people into the industry. And to do that, you need the people with the knowledge to back it up. So the fact that they thought I had it and that they wanted to use it, for me, was very flattering. because it's the, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be. They want me to pass on my knowledge. They've asked me different times, can you give so-and-so hands-on training with this e-log system or that e-log system? Because again, where I know the systems, they're like, okay, we're going to use you to teach this because they need that little bit extra. We want them to succeed, so we're going to use you to help them succeed. It's very much a team environment, and trucking more now than ever, I have found that I'm working on a team mentality. So, yes, I'm the one out on the road, but my dispatchers realize that, hold it, for me to get from point A to point B, I need this. We need to do this. And then even the sales teams and the people who, from the arranging my paychecks to make sure I get paid on time, they all work together. Like, I can walk into anybody at the office and say, listen, this is what I'm thinking, or this is the problem I have. This is what I'm thinking of a solution. What do you think of this? And it could be something as simple like right now, we're like, we really need some more light in the backyard. It's hard to back in there at night. We park trailers really close together. We just need some more light. And so they're slowly, and it takes time with any organization, but they are working at putting more light in the backyard so we can safely back in. And it's small things like that, but they don't know if somebody doesn't tell them. So like when I'm out here on the road, that, last week got caught in a snowstorm, and I just like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm empty. The roads are turning to crap, and that's it. I'm done. And they're just like, okay, good to know. We'll pass the information on for other drivers we have coming up through that area. And so it's really more of that. And you still have to be okay with being alone to be out on the road. And not a lot of people can do that these days, because it is you in the truck. And in the end, you're the captain of that ship. And that is the biggest thing that people need to realize. And that nowadays a lot of people have the hard time with, is because you are alone in the truck unless you team drive. And yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's like so crucial to understand that, when I'm here like booking loads for my customers and things like that, we're not thinking, we often, as much as we say, hey, we want to reflect this light and like let's think about the driver, we don't know about them being stuck in traffic or the loneliness that they kind of face on the road by themselves, that they got to figure out these issues. Meanwhile, you got people like blowing up your phone for like updates and all that stuff, depending on the person that you work with. But I know that you're not technically alone, so that actually is going to segue into my main man, Decker. Can you talk a little bit about Decker, who he is, your riding mate, a little bit about my man? Let's give him a little shine.
No, I lucked out. He's my rescue. He is, all we really know is he's a senior dog, and he's been with me in the truck now since the end of November, and it was like he was born to be in the truck. The only thing we're still working on is when we cross the border, he does like to bark at the guards. So he needs to make his presence known, but he's been fantastic as far as everybody talks about mental health, but they don't want to do anything about either their own mental health or anything like that. And for me, he's been fantastic, because now I have to get up and get moving every day. There's something there to, again, to make sure I get up, get out, and, if nothing else. And it's been wonderful. And everybody, I send pictures to the people I work with and things like that. And they all, again, like you, they all love seeing the pictures, especially like yesterday after he got groomed, they all had to see him. And they've just been fantastic. And I think if more companies would allow for a companion on the road, things would be, well, for me, they'd be a lot better. Like he's made such a difference. He's flaked out on his blanket right now, so he doesn't want to make an appearance.
He eventually will, he's taking it in. He's like, you know what? Let me make sure these guys at Sales Chatter is good people, and then maybe I'll come on for episode 2. Like that's what we love about
You
Decker.
never know.
Yeah, we'd love to kind of see them because, I think one of the most important things that I truly believe that as well, that like dogs, any kind of companion, are amazing for your mental health. I think for me, like being able to like wake up in the morning and knowing that I have like a routine, like, like if I want to sleep 5 minutes late, I don't have that opportunity to, or my dogs are hungry and things like that. I have three, so
Well,
I know how.
he's pretty laid back going.
Oh, okay. And like awesome. So what's been the experience with him? Like, so how long have you had Decker for, and how long has he been riding with you?
He's been riding with me so since the end of November, so just about 3.5 months now, almost 4. I made sure when I was contemplating getting a dog that what I asked when I was crossing into the US, what do I need to do to make sure I can do this with no problems? And when I knew he was coming to me and when I knew he was a rescue and a senior, they were all like, yeah, just as long as he looks healthy, we're not going to worry about it. So for me, though, I made sure I got him his rabies vaccines and things like all his vaccines and everything. So I'm not going to have a problem. And just put him on, flea and tick medications with heartworm because heartworm is more prevalent down south than it is up here. And most of them, when they see him or hear him barking at them at the border, they just laugh and, they talk to him. They're like, oh, you're just a big vicious dog. And they just laugh because it seems to make their day as well.
Yeah, like I don't think anybody has never met a Peppy. Like if you want to judge someone's character, see how they are around a dog. If they're like uptight and scared and mean, then they're not. I don't know. I'll just say they're not a good person. Completely from there. That's just my point of view because obviously I'm a dog guy. But it's important to have that. Like you said, you go to the borders. It's just making your days brighter. From there, what give me a glimpse of what is it like for you, like as a truck driver, driving, like I said, cross border across the U.S. I kind of want to know what your start is. Do you drive primarily drive-in? Do you do reefers? Do you do open decks? Or have you driven like a combination of everything? How did you, where did you get your start in?
I got my start 10 years ago hauling containers in and out of the pier and doing a lot of that work. Or the company I worked for at that time specialized in overseas moves for the military. So it was picking up containers, going to somebody's residence and backing, a container into their driveway so it could be loaded. So they could go to their overseas posting or they could come home from. And so that really made things easier in the long run because now I've learned how to back up. Again, you get better at it by doing it, and I was doing it every day. From there, I went to a company that did reefer work, and then I just fell into doing mostly dry van, and that's what I've done ever since. And that's just, we joke around and call it, but it's still like the trip I leave on to stores in the US out of here, instead of into a distribution center, I'm going directly to the stores to do it. And it's just nice and easy. You back in, they take their stuff off, you pull away. And it really is just a nice run. And then the nice part is the places I'm delivering, the staff are always great there. And they just laugh when they hear the dog bark.
Everyone's a fan of Decker. Everyone definitely loves Decker. That should probably, what, you'd be like so successful, like if you did like a TikTok, like start up a TikTok, Decker's travels or something like that, and just like record like him driving the truck or something like that. That'd be pretty cool to kind of see. And speaking of that, in does social media play any role at all in terms of not of just yourself or like maybe like the interns coming out? Because what I see a lot of Veronica is a lot of drivers are using social media now. Like I see them on TikTok, like doing their pre-inspection or showing me that they have like a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox in their cab and things like that. Has social media for the, like, let's say younger generation or even yourself?
For me, not so much. It's, I use Facebook to keep in touch with family and things like that, but I'm not a huge poster of, oh, I'm here and I'm here and I'm here. I do watch some TikToks and things like that, but again, it's not really my thing. I have friends that love it. But because of social media, I find, one of my interns, he's like, well, I saw them doing this on this video because they were backing in and they did it this way. Why would they do it this way as opposed to? and things like that. So it gives somebody another tool to be able to learn depending on their learning style. So, and it also comes in handy with somebody learning to do a pre-trip. So these are the points you should hit. This is the way it should go. And it does help. It's not the be all and end all, but it does help. The only way, again, like I said before, is with a lot of this is you're going to learn by doing. And that's the biggest thing. But it does play a role. I know I have friends, yeah, they do their TikToks, they do their whatevers, and that works for them. And it's just not something I've ever wanted to do, so I don't do it. But if somebody else wants to do it, power to them. I think it's great that they can share what it's like out here.
And I think that's why we like to kind of see like the onion skin being peeled, not just like in like trucking, but every kind of industry. Like you find like that's why like there's so many like TV shows that are successful, like Pawn Stars and stuff like that. Like, oh, I never knew that I wanted to know about how people work at a pawn shop or something like that, right? So I think it's really important. In your opinion, because like one of the things that we kind of looked at, both Jeff and I, was that the women who are drivers, that number is very low in our industry, and it's something that it's not necessarily attractive to people that kind of come out. What would be your advice, like when you're talking to the interns, or are you seeing the opposite? Are you seeing more women come out of those schools, and what kind of advice do you kind of have, like, hey, maybe we should get, how can we get more women into trucking?
Most companies do want more female drivers because even with car statistics, female drivers are safer drivers. They're usually more conscientious, better drivers. But this leads to the whole society debate, because where trucking is mostly a lone individual career, um, it boils down to that most women still want a job where they're home at night, where they can go and take on that role of raising their family and things like that, where it's not as important for a male driver there 24/7 or nearby. So what I'm finding is the target for women drivers should be those who have right now, are at the end of raising their family, that want to start their second or third career. And those are the women that should be targeted. And I also I get that younger women want to be out here too, but it's really hard as a female, if you want to have the home and family, to balance that with being a long haul truck driver, and even still with the hours of a local driver, because even local drivers can put in 10 to 12 hours a day. So the balance, if that's what needs to happen to entice women into driving more. The other thing you're still dealing with is the stereotype of the truck driver industry, where you have the overweight guy with the trucker cap and all this, and looking slovenly and things like that. And that's not the industry out here anymore either. So you're dealing with the TV stereotypes that have come from it, and it needs to have all that broken down. And most people also still have the, well, you're just a dumb truck driver attitude, when that's not the case at all anymore either. For me, this is my third career. So it's not, and it's been my most successful one and my happiest one. But it's also one that, again, people look at the stereotype and are like, excuse me? And that needs to be broken down as well. And the biggest way to do that is, again, by focusing more and more on the drivers who are what you want to see. So the ones who don't look like they've just stepped out of whatever. And that's happening more and more. And you have to break down but that's just a dumb truck driver thing, because people need to get past that, because a lot of it's still the mindset of, oh, anybody can drive truck. And it's not the case at all anymore either.
And that's so true. I can, there's stereotypes everywhere, and that's the number one thing. We actually talked about that a couple of weeks ago, Veronica, with Dean from DAT, where he was talking about how Hollywood has kind of not helped the driver shortage or retention, just based off like the negative that you kind of see, like you said, that truck driver, the overweight truck driver. Or I told him like the movies that I remember with the truck driver, they're kind of like the villains, like the movie Joyride with the late Paul Walker and things like that. So we couldn't thank you enough for coming out this morning. It's amazing. I always ask this last question before we let you go here. What is a question that you hoped we asked you today?
I think you got them all. Like the biggest one is, where do you see truck driving going? And as it becomes more and more um, technical to drive trucks, because trucks are getting smarter and smarter and everything like that, it's going to change, and the industry is going to change, and we just need to keep up with it.
I love that. So can't thank you enough. Like we said, I hope you'll send me some pictures or some videos of you and Decker on the open road. That'll be pretty fun to kind of see. So can't thank you enough, and can't thank the audience for coming out and sharing their time with us this morning. If you found value in this, which I know you did, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Check us back on a replay at 2 and 6 p.m. at LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Veronica, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you?
I am on social media. So, well, I'm on Facebook. So you can just search for my name on Facebook, or I know they can fire a message off to you and ask for contact information and give it. Or Mike Zalek, who gave you my information, also has my information.
Yeah, Zelik, he gave me some really like yourself, like nobody that he sent me missed. So I'm so happy that I was able to connect with you. You're an amazing person, especially
Thank
our
you.
call yesterday. So looking forward, like I said, I hope to have you on in the future to kind of hear your thoughts again. And we'll just continue to have some fun. So this is Sales Chatter. We'll see you guys again tomorrow for Fun Day Friday. I know Jeff's internet was cutting out today, so he'll be back on Friday, hanging out with us. So thank you to everybody. Take care and be safe, everyone.